But then again, we manifested it all. So we thank the Creator for His blessing, and also for besties in business. Yo, yo, sit back, relax, and let yourself go with simply Naima and alter ego. These are trying times, so relax your mind. If you need some help, then drop us a line. We create a space where we can have good conversation, family, culture, business, race relations, giving birth to kings and queens, manifesting wealth and things. 2020 came and tried to give us mad action with no satisfaction, and then we all distracted, but still gotta hold our own, doing big boss shit, rockin' Nina Simone, a superstar in this compilation. Came to this universe to give you niggas motivation, but you still sleep, you niggas always on a vacation. But he's a creep, and that's the real life translation. You feel me?
I don't think they feel you, yo. We gon' get this bread and feed them till they full, yup. We gon' get this bread and plant the seeds that really grow. We do it to build and not for likes or for show. Expand your network, your connections will grow. Thanking the Creator from where all our blessings flow. We are innovators and creators, multifaceted, talented, beautiful queens. Most of all, confident and conquering dreams. Besties. Welcome back to another episode of the Besties Building Brands podcast. We're looking a little light today. Two of our co-hosts are having some family trouble and technology issues. So it's just me, and we have an awesome guest today. So I hope you guys are ready to learn some new information about your personal brand and image. Our guest today is Miss Londyn Nikole. She is a passion-driven image strategist and consultant, digital beauty editor and creative director, and she's also the CEO of the Londyn Nikole firm. She's an author and an entrepreneur who's transferred her considerable talent from an editorial and celebrity makeup artist into the arena of image and brand image transformations. She's an image strategist and CEO, again, of the Londyn Nikole firm, and her mission is to help individuals find their own brand and then model their image to match their brand. Your personal image should work in tandem with your brand. The Londyn Nikole firm creatively tells passionate brand stories to their audience to impact social change. So we're going to welcome Miss Londyn Nikole to the stage. Hello.
Hey.
Hello. So happy to have you. I'm great. Thank you.
Yeah, have you ever seen like when you watch like late night shows and you're the person behind the stage and they come out and they're like, that's how I felt.
I gotta hype it up.
Super hyped to be here. How are you?
Hype backstage. So we're just going to jump right into it. I read a little bit about your mission and your bio, but I want you to really just talk a little bit about your business, what you do, and why you started the Londyn Nikole firm.
Yeah. So hey guys, what's up? My name is Londyn Nikole, and like she said before, I am an image strategist, also a personal branding expert, and then I'm the CEO and the creative director of my firm, the Londyn Nikole firm. Honestly, if I have to be very transparent, I want to say I kind of really created what I did for myself, to be honest with you. Grew up and I was so fascinated, like just so captivated by like TV, watching music videos, and I was like, oh my God. And I think by the time I was like 16, I remember seeing Oprah on TV, and I was like, I want to be able to be a plus size woman on TV, but I didn't feel attractive. I didn't feel like I looked the part. So I kind of got into makeup, and then slowly as I got into makeup, moving to New York City, I honestly started working with music artists. And, back in the day when you used to hear about Beyonce or Destiny's Child used to sing and run in heels, it's like a department called like development, where you had to find your look, you had to find your sound, you was posing, you know what I mean? You were going through that stuff. So I ended up working with a music artist named Coco Sarah out of New York City. And once I started working with her and going back and forth with labels, and I was like, oh my God, this is like super dope. The honest thing was, it was just hard to make it make sense from a music artist standpoint to now. But the biggest shift is more people are focused on their personal brand, like whether you're trying to be like a politician or a mayor or say for instance, you're the new president or the dean of your school or your coach or entrepreneur, your personal brand is just like a music artist. You
Right.
have to put yourself out there. You have to let people know who you are. So it kind of spun from a lot of my own pain growing up to seeing other people's problems. Does that make sense? And it kind of morphed into me really wanting to tell impactful stories and really have great brand content for people that matches what they want to do and who they want to help, and kind of really visually just tell that story.
Wow. So you said, growing up, you had some challenges. Like, what did you originally want to be when you grew up? Most kids wanted to be lawyers and teachers and things.
An actress. Honestly, actress. I want to be an actress. Watching Claire Huxtable, I feel like every woman we can relate. I just thought she was so savvy. I thought she was so pretty. And then when I really found out she was an actress, and growing up with my grandmother in the South, watching Bold and the Beautiful and Young and the Restless, it was just stories. It was just so dramatic. Everybody looked super fabulous. And so when I did see Oprah and kind of went down that whole path, I found out she started working at radio. And literally at like 16, I went to intern for a radio station, and I started at like a country station. And I was like, oh my goodness, I want to do this forever. But again, as you kind of get older and grow, I was like, I don't look like this person. I don't look like this person. So maybe I really can't do the thing. So for a long time, I kind of hid doing makeup to do the thing that I really wanted to do, that I was waiting for someone to tell me to do. You know what I'm saying? The thing that I really wanted to do. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So like, what was growing up like for you? Did you have siblings? What did your parents do? Were they entrepreneurs? Is that something that runs in the family, or like you the first one to step out and say, hey, I'm doing my own thing?
My family like is very sports driven. So my dad got recruited to play for like the Charlotte Hornets. My mom was into softball. My brother, I have like two ends. Everybody has like, my parents got remarried. So my mom's side, I have one brother, and my other siblings, I have 8. Everybody's like into athletics. Like they can run and throw stuff. So completely
you come with the makeup and the glamour.
Right. Like completely different. Like here I go. And I was always like that, super prissy, walking up to people, having conversations. So completely different. But the thing that is interesting though, my family did flip into entrepreneurship. So my mom ended up, school teacher, worked in education her whole life. She ended up opening like a daycare. My father ended up going into like police work, so he got into bail bondsman, you know what I mean? And my brother's now into real estate. So everybody slowly kind of transitioned over, on top of, honestly, everybody was kind of into ministry as well. So if it wasn't entrepreneur, it was very outreach with the church. And that's honestly how I started acting. Wrote a play for the church and started doing very dramatic, very Tyler Perry, Medea driven shows. So yeah.
Okay. And so we like to lead with failures. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but most times online you see everybody talking about how they made 6 and 7 figures and they're so rich and everything's perfect and they have a Lambo and everything is perfect. Buy this class and you will be like me. So we always ask people, what was your biggest failure and what did you learn from that?
Child, I could write a book. I think it's a lot. I can't honestly just say one. I mean, let's say this. I'll say within the past 5 years, not handling my business has probably been my biggest regret. Meaning, like, you have to know the business and the industry that you're in, especially if you want to change or make a difference or make an impact. I had a family situation that happened. It was right around when my mom passed. And I felt like if I would have handled my business accordingly and priced myself right, then I felt like, does that make sense? Monetarily, my car wouldn't have got repoed. I wouldn't have lost my house. I wouldn't have lost, you know what I mean? Like it kind of filtered like a mudslide into a whole type of situation. So I would say stemming from that, which was probably my worst failure, is just not knowing the back end of my business, not making sure everything was documented. And like I said, I was pricing accordingly, because when you don't, it affects everything. It affects how you actually live. How are you going to do this job if you're not paying yourself and paying other people, accordingly? So I honestly want to say that was by far one of my biggest lessons, especially in business.
Yeah, so people really need to take time to learn their business. A lot of times people just jump right out there and they don't take the time to learn the back end of everything and just all the ebbs and flows and what you really need to do to have a successful business. Because you hear people say that a lot. Just jump, just start where you are. And it does take some level of research, some level of planning.
Right. Because I mean, like you just said, again, can you go out here and jump and start? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. But like my grandmother would say, the floor will catch you. Because if you don't do it right, you're going to be there. Like I did the whole hurry up and go start a brow bar. Mm-hmm. Did it, set it up, tax ID, got the Wi-Fi and all of this stuff. And as soon as stuff started going left, you know what I mean? Because I was still working. I went back to 9 to 5, trying to balance entrepreneur. It is a lot trying to do all the things and be all the people at the same time. So that's what I was saying. If you handle your back end and you're pricing yourself accordingly, where you can pay yourself, you can pay other people, you can live. Yeah. It is a whole different thing because one is Black women, Black entrepreneurs, like we don't get funding. I mean, think about it. I think it's like 0.001% of the time we get funding. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So if you came from nothing, like, you know, I love my parents to death. I learned so much, but I was the oldest. So my parents didn't pay for my college or my car or my first apartment. So everything I did in my business was a lot of trial and error. You know, paying for the website and the person didn't show up and do the website, paying for flyers and the person didn't show up and do it because I wasn't sure, and getting people to do this and not quite sure of my vision. So again, not to knock anybody, but it's just so much simpler when you know the back end of where you wanted to go. Kind of like a painter, you know, you see the finished product and then kind of back up a little bit from there and lay that, you know what I mean, lay your foundation out a lot more clearly, I'll say.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what was the best compliment you ever received that you could think of?
I ended up doing her, she was an executive producer at Hot 97 in New York, and she ended up getting cancer. And when I did her makeup, she wanted me to redo her makeup again. And she was saying the last time she felt beautiful about herself was when I did her makeup. That was probably, that was probably the best. Yeah, because, you know, when you do makeup, you just, at the time, me personally, I was just like, oh, I'm just doing your makeup just because I was so into the editorial world. So hearing that kind of let me know, like, wow, people really look at themselves differently. So again, to this day, that's probably one of the best compliments I could think of.
Wow. That was a good question. That was a good answer. Wow. That would have done
totally. Yeah, that did it for me. I was like, oh.
Yeah, right. So what, like, would you say would be the best resource that has helped you along the way? It doesn't necessarily have to be something when you first started, but it could be a person, it could be an app, it could be a book. Like, what do you think is the best resource that's helped you?
Personal development. That's what my mom, I remember when I was like 18 and my mom was like, just go to school for cosmetology. And I was like, I don't want to. If you ever watch South Park, the little fat kid, Mama, I felt like, I was like, Mom, I don't want to do someone's hair, because I didn't. I was like, I'm not putting my hand in someone's head. I'm just not. And at the time, you know, this is like 2002, 2003, you know, you didn't know, we were using social media, but not to this piece, you know? And I remember my mom said, as an educator, she was like, hey, if you're really going to go down this journey, whether it's the entertainment business, whether it's the art, however you want to look at it, you have to self-educate yourself. You're going to be responsible for your own development. So I would say that's probably the biggest thing, from just reading books on how to operate myself. So even when I use like terms like glamour boss, I'm just saying, be in charge. You know, my tagline is being in charge of your brand has never looked so good. I'm talking about you. You are only in control of yourself. Even as a CEO, you're not in control of people. You can try to, but you know what I mean? People are going to do what they want to do. You only can be in charge of how you feel about you and how you're going to navigate through these, you know, these circumstances and situations and just life in general. So personal development. Like, I feel like that is a key thing for anybody. And that consists of, you know, whether it's spiritually or mentally, just kind of knowing who you are. That has probably been the key thing. Because if not, you'll look up and be down the street because someone tells you it's a good idea. Or someone says, hey, add this service to your business. and you'll be way over here when it has nothing to do with your overall vision, what you really want to do, what you're really called to do. You know what I mean?
So
So
people have so many opinions on you and your business and what you should do
without asking you who you are or
Yeah.
what's your vision, like what are you planning on doing, like what's your long-term goal. I don't think we ask those things, and I hear people all the time giving people advice on finding a niche and niching it down, and I'm like, well, did you ask the person who they are? Did you ask them what they're doing before you cut them down and tell them their niche isn't good enough or this isn't good enough? Let's start asking people questions and really hearing what they have to say.
And then too, like some people aren't just money driven. Like I'm driven by passion and missions and things that I'm passionate about. So even as a loctician, and because of the pandemic, I've essentially stopped doing clients. So you should probably teach lock extensions. You should probably do this. I don't want to do that though.
Right. See,
you pay $500 and I could get $500. I don't want to do that. That's not what I want to do.
Right.
And people will talk to you from a place of, I mean, I don't need, I don't want to put any negative connotations on anybody, but I just think sometimes people who have never really done anything, they have so many opinions, and you've never dropped anything, you've never launched anything, you've never actually been in business, but you can always tell somebody what they should do. It's not always about the money, especially for me.
I'll say this, it's about money. I've always looked at money as a resource, as a tool to help further the overall agenda. Because let's be honest, and this, even if it was rocks, if we had a money system where it was rocks, you're going to need to pay other people rocks to help them. You get what I'm saying? Like, let's just stop the craziness. But I'm not so money driven, like you said, that I don't care what it is, I'm just going to sell it. It don't make sense with my brand, but if everybody wearing eyelashes, I'm going to sell eyelashes. If everybody wearing shirts, I'm going to sell shirts. So I get what you're saying. I'm not money driven where I'm just going to pick up anything and everything and be all over the place just to make a profit or a quick dollar.
And you know what? You can tell. Well, I feel like I can when people are money driven, because you see them hot from here to here to here, whatever is hot. Now everybody is doing this, so this is what I do. This is what I do. And don't get me wrong, people, you can expand your brand and do different things, but sometimes it's just a little like, you said you were.
I think it has to connect. That's my biggest thing. You can do whatever you want to do. Right. See, that's what I'm saying. You can tell when it's a little like, or when I hear people, I think you probably see the same thing. I'm rebranding. I'm rebranding. I'm like, honey, do you even know what you're doing before you rebrand? And is it just the image thing? Maybe your back end is clean. Maybe you know where you want to go, but maybe now you have the funds. Maybe you've kind of, got situated where you can take that money, reinvest back into the business, and now your graphics look great. Your website looks great. All of the things look great. That's a completely different thing versus, like you said, one day you selling fish plates, the next day you selling lashes, weeks after that it's a boutique, and then now it's all over the place where it's no connectivity, where you see the person within what they're doing and how they want to do something different. It's not being authentic.
Plus, $3 here, $3 here, $4 here. If you would just put all your energy here, get what you can
to the whole company that sells all of that. Right.
So, so one more question before we do our lightning round question, and then we'll get into personal brand and imaging. So, if you had a billboard about your life, what would it say? Personal and business, just to sum everything up, just you. What would the billboard say?
Make up your mind, make up your life.
Nice. I like it. All right. So we're going to do these lightning round questions. Like I said before, it's usually more people. So, we'll pretend like it's, more voices.
We'll pretend it's a lot of people.
Right. All right. So you're right. So you just have to say the answer.
Oh my God.
About it.
I feel like I got a buzzer.
All right. Ariel or Jasmine?
Jasmine.
Invisibility.
Oh man. Oh Lord, it was pressure because I love them both. But go ahead.
Invisibility or super strength?
Invisibility.
Cake or pie?
Cake.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Cat or dog?
Cat.
Godfather or Star Wars?
Godfather.
Paper or plastic?
Paper.
Ex permission or forgiveness?
forgiveness.
And what's
That was
your
hard.
favorite season?
Fall.
All right. And you have to get this question right or else I'm going to end the show, okay?
Okay.
Fresh Prince or Martin?
Martin.
See? I knew we was, besties.
I'm sorry. That is the only show I can watch over and over and over. Yes. Because I'm so into details. I can't do like the repetitiveness, but Martin, I can do it over and over and over and crack up like it is the first episode. He is hilarious.
Yes. All right. So I want to talk a little bit about your area of expertise.
Yeah.
So I was looking at a few things before our show just to make sure I'm clear because I'm actually new to this. So I never even thought about your personal brand from an image point of view. Like I know a personal brand, when I think about it for myself, I just think about like, okay, I'm a mother, I have children, my story, but then I'm like, well, let me look it up just to see. So what exactly is a personal brand and what compared to an image consultant? Because I saw that a lot too. Like, is there a difference between the two and what exactly is it? Like the definition of it, if you could explain.
So I'll start off with image consultant first. So it is not like a stylist. Image consultant can style you, but usually they're looking at your overall image. So from hair, makeup, clothing, and the whole nine. So, and it really is more about your communication, your behaviors, and your appearance. So it's a 3-piece combo, right? And that's usually where they stop. What I put my niche in it as was I just added personal branding to it because I've changed my life the same way. So backstory, my actual name is Brittany Gibson, right? I came up with Londyn Nikole because, let me just say it. Brittany Gibson is just not marketable. I'm just saying, like, I just don't want it on the business. But let me tell you why. That's me personally. That's my personal belief. Because I knew I wanted to get into like storytelling and probably a salon and even a cosmetic line. I wanted a really nice like luxe name and the whole nine that actually I felt like matched who I was on my brand. So kind of no different from Sean Combs, Jay-Z, or Sean Combs, P. Diddy. Sean Combs, P. Diddy, and then you have Sean, what is his last name? Carter, Jay-Z. Right. So it's the same thing. How I said their names, you automatically formed an opinion. If I say Beyonce, if I say Madonna, if I say Obama, Michelle Obama, all of those people are personal brands. Versus me saying probably Target, Walmart, they're brands as well too. So a personal brand is just more focused on the person versus probably the actual product. So who is that person? What position are they in? What are their goals? What are they trying to do? Like how you're hearing the news saying a thought leader. It's something along that line. A person who has a goal, whether they are speaking, whether they're visionary, whether they're creating something, they want to be known for their message and what they're contributing to society. So it's more that way. So like I said, if I take myself, I came out with a book that way. I'm building a business that way, a cosmetic line, a whole brand of luxe that is tied to that name. So it's a little bit more than just saying you're a mom, unless you want to brand yourself as America's mom, like Kris Kardashian. You know what I mean? She's kind of like a manager. When you think about Kim Kardashian, the first word that comes to mind is probably beauty, or Kanye West. Right. So it's really more focused on a person standing out and then the products that they have versus you're just focused on a company like MAC and then their products. So it's more focused on that individual. So that's why when you see someone like Kanye, we always say, you know, when he does something crazy, oh, that's the end of his company or that's the end of his brand. So you have to be very careful with personal branding because you are the company. So if you do bad publicity, it can overall affect your whole company. Versus if Mac's CEO did something, you would probably never know. or
Right.
Target CEO or Walmart CEO. You'll probably never know, and he won't affect the overall business. So personal branding is just a way if you want to build the business off of you, like your Lisa Nicholson. She would be a personal brand as a speaker. I think you get where I'm going. Music artists, politicians, it's that type of figure. But I believe everyone has a personal brand. It's like your resume. When you go fill out for a job, they're meeting this person on the paper. You're selling yourself to that employer for a wage. As a personal brand, you're selling yourself to that consumer for a wage. So if you go out here and say, I'm going to start coaching, you're selling your ideas, what you can do, how you're going to change a person's life. You know what I mean? And you're asking them to buy into you versus I'm selling a candle and I got to be like, the candle is great and the candle smell good and the da-da-da-da. The same way you will market a candle and talk about how it looks, it feels, it smells, is the same thing I have to do for a person. I have to talk about who you are, what's your story, what's your background, and where you want to go. And then visually, I'm telling that story. So me and PR, we work very close together and coming, you know what I mean, together to make sure your image and who you are matches all the way up. So again, in my area, I just niche myself down. So versus just being a stylist or just being a makeup artist, I was able to bring all of the back experience I had with branding myself, branding other people, and then also making content into a whole business. So all the things I love, I got to put them together. So not only can I help you on your back end, but I'm more worried about your front end. Can we build products from it? Where can we go? And does your content match your mission, your vision, and where you're trying to go? You know what I mean? And the message that you're trying to spread.
And so you mentioned a few people. Who do you think has an awesome personal brand? Like they really did a good job branding themselves.
I can go down the line. Kim Kardashian. I mean, she did a great job. She had 15 bad minutes of, a sex tape, and it has turned into a $1 billion empire, not only for her, for her entire family. So they have a whole legacy. Whether you love them or hate them, it's there. Beyonce has done a great job. She's been super, super consistent in whatever product she brands, whatever collaboration she does. Rihanna's great at personal branding. I mean, I have a crap load of people who I absolutely love. I'll use an example. Michelle Obama. Do you remember when she first went into the White House? She had the shortcut, really harsh brows. If you notice, by that fourth term, the second fourth term when she went in, she looked completely different. She had an image consultant. So again, your image consultant is over your hair, your makeup, and they're working with your PR. So think about your manager, your PR, your image consultant, and they're working together to make sure, publications, magazines, if you had any bad press, how can we flip that and tell it from a positive point of view? But Michelle Obama, she's one of those people where people love to fight with me about her. But I was like, if you go back and look at when she first came in the White House, we were not checking for her the same way we were checking for her when she came out of the White House. In that middle piece, she completely revamped her image. She had a new hair person, a new makeup person, clothing change, and you really started to see who she really was. The team around you, not to cut you off, but the team around you should, enhance your image and what you're trying to do.
I went to a class with Johnny Wright. He was her hairstylist at one point, and he was just telling the story about how, like, when she had the really full curls and how she came out on stage and her hair was just swinging, and that story was so impactful. But I don't know who was her hairstylist during that time that you're talking about, but that was like one of the first noticeable changes that I saw in her when he started doing her hair, because you could tell the difference.
That's the point. See how you were very clear. You knew something happened, but we weren't quite sure. But she had a whole new team. So another thing that image consultant is doing too, they're reading the statistic, like your stats. So when I have clients, once a month, I'm asking them, like, send me your reports, because it's like a TV station or politics. They get like a full breakdown of who was who's like your 50, you know what I mean? Like what type of people are voting for you, or what does this group of people say about you? So it's a good way to have someone go over, you know what I mean, what your demographic is. Because a lot of times when we're talking about your target demographic, you could be completely missing a group of people who are buying your products, who are supporting you, who are watching your videos, because you're so focused over there. So whenever you have anybody with strategists behind their name, they should really be helping you break down your statistics with your business and your brand, to kind of really help you focus more on the person you're trying to reach. Or like I said, locations you probably need to do pop-ups in, or release a product in, or if you're setting up a brick and mortar, your best places to go. You're probably like, oh, I want to do a store in New York City, but Alabama, you know what I mean, is making, right. So it's a good way to kind of figure out your next level, where you can expand it and where you can grow at.
And I heard you say earlier, when you were thinking about your own brand, you wanted to have a luxe feel.
Yeah.
So what are some other like names of I guess brand styles besides luxe? Like, because I'm hearing it a lot. Everybody has you know how we are. Whatever the trend is, everybody wants luxe this, luxe that. And like, what are some other brand styles?
It's actually 16 brand archetypes that have nothing to do with luxury. So let me be very clear. So when I'm saying luxury, I'm solely focusing on the experience. So like your Tiffany, like your Louis Vuitton, like your Gucci, those brands, the price point is high because the whole experience, the quality that they're using, customer service, their packaging, their website, everything from top to bottom should be giving you a whole overall experience. If you look at Walmart and Target, Target will be luxe compared to Walmart. You know what I mean? Still in the same category, but when you go to Walmart, you'll be like, girl, I could just put a bonnet on, it don't matter. When you go to Target, it's a little different because culture is different. And the experience, again, price point, people, and the whole nine. So anything can have a luxury feel to it. It just really means the experience. But let me backtrack and go to what you said. So it's 16 different personality types in a brand. Your brand is really defined by your personality type. So are you a lover? Are you a magician? Are you an entertainer? And now let me back up and give you some brands to kind of match that. Are you a lover brand? Victoria's Secret, Hallmark, Godiva. All of those are a lover brand. It's about the relationship, the love that you're communicating with the brand. You have something like the Girl Next Door, which IKEA would be like a Girl Next Door brand. It's all about building and coming together to do it. You have a magician brand. Oprah would be considered a magician brand. About the transformation. Mary Kay is a magician brand. It's about the transformation. Who else do you have? You have the hero brand. It's a list of them. Hero brands. You have the entertainer. Carly B would be an entertainer brand. It's about the fun. It's about the live. So again, you have 16 brand personality types that you really, if you take an assessment, you'll fall into it. So a lot of people automatically think that I'm just going to be luxury or not. And it's not really felt that way. It's usually the personality of whatever that company is. So when a lot of people are getting confused with this high end piece, like not Megan Good, again, she would be more like a Girl Next Door type of brand. Matter of fact, Sarah Jakes, she would be like a Girl Next Door type of brand. You want to be a friend, you want to get to know her, you want to come in. So if people look up 16 brand personalities and take a couple quizzes, you'll start to figure out your own personality. So again, your personal brand is your voice, your tone, your feel, and your personality. You know, so people have to think about those. I'm very inclusive. I think I told you that when I came on, as much as I like crowds, I'm very into the one-on-one love piece. So, you know what I mean? Personality is very strong. You either like it or you don't.
Right.
You either want the glamour or you're not. So you got to think, again, that's who I am. That's my personality type too. My tone, very direct, very comforting. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, you may not just sit in one of those personalities. It could be a combination. So again, my brand is a little bit of lover and magician, because I do want to transform you. I do want you to feel like the swan. I do want you to go from day to night. I do want you to feel like larger than life when you're on the stage, you know? So it could be, like I said before, a combination of different personalities to make your brand. But this whole luxury piece should really be, honestly, a way to say you want to give the best to your clients, the best experience. Because to be a luxury brand, you have to do it for a long time. You know what I mean? When people say generational wealth, I'm like, well, honey, that's at least 30 years. Think about Louis Vuitton. Think about Gucci. These places have been around forever. Same value, same product, and it's only going up. So if you know you're up and down, give yourself some time, but really work towards being consistent. So that's what consistent means. Are you giving the same experience day after day? And on your second year of business, can you maintain it by giving a little more? Third year, maintaining it, giving a little more. So, you know what I mean? Does that make sense? Versus I'm just a luxury brand because I say I am. It doesn't work that way. You know what I mean? It has to be a full experience.
A lot of people are basing it on their prices. So I want to be a luxury brand, so therefore I'm going to charge this amount of money. That was a really good explanation. And then just one last question. When should you, or how do you make the determination? Should I do a personal brand story, or should I do a story like brand my business? Should I be a Target, Walmart, or should I be a, P. Diddy? Like, should I brand me or should I brand my business? Or is it?
I think you're going to always be branding yourself because you're selling yourself. So you should always have some type of standard for yourself. Woman, cat, dog, mother. You should always have some type of standard, because if you're going into the boardroom, if you have to go before your board or the city and you have to speak for your company, you still want to show up being professional. The second part of that, it depends on what you want to do. Do you want to do this for the rest of your life? Do you want to be on camera all the time? Do you want to do the newspaper interviews? Do you want to talk to people? Do you want to be on stage? Do you want the crowds? Are you going to always want to put your eyebrows on? Are you, because you know what I mean? I don't want to do this all the time, because sometimes I just wish I could put a ponytail on it. But I know my heart, I'm not going to do it. Two, I've already came too far and built a personal brand. So I tell people to be honest with themselves. How long are you willing to ride this out? You know, and I've seen both ends. I've seen some people start and just sell products. And I've seen some people sell products and come out. I've seen other people come out and was like, hey, I don't want to do this forever, and go back in. But I just, if I'm going to be honest, I tell people to pick a side. Pick a side, because it's going to be so much easier versus you spending a whole bunch of money on makeup and hair and wigs. You can spend it on your products, and you just own the company and you're focused on the products. So again, it's going to be your vision, and it's going to be, what are you selling? I sell me more than a product. More like, no matter what I do, somebody's going to ask me to come speak, to come do something. So I had to really think about that before I named the product after myself, before I put my name on the building. Am I going to do all the things? Or am I just going to focus on that? So I tell people to kind of think about that piece. What end do you really want to focus on and put time into?
Okay. So thank you so much you gave us a lot of value today. I hope people have some takeaways. I know I made a couple notes myself.
No problem.
So for the people that aren't watching us, that are just listening to the audio on iTunes and iHeartRadio, can you just tell them how they can find you and what you're offering, if you have any specials or anything going on, so that they can contact you?
Yeah. So you can go visit my website. It's www.theglamourboss.com. I have several tabs. So the first part, you can either, if you want help with your personal brand, if you go down and you just want to do a consultation, we can do that as well. Currently, if you want to start with brand development, where you're saying, hey, Londyn, I know I want to put myself out here. I got, my edge. I got my little credentials. I've tried to do it before, but I need to expand my services, or I know I want to do a product and I don't know where I'm going to start with content creation. So I do have a brand development. So it's half price right now if you go to the website, so you can work with me monthly before that changes around. And we go through everything. We go through your personal brands. We go over your brand colors, best fit. We go over your brand personality. We go over your personality type, because a lot of people aren't sure about it. We talk about your strengths, and then we also talk about your career, because I look at your career and your business. So when I decided to make a firm, you know, I thought about what type of job do I want to do forever. I could be a creative director for the rest of my life. So we look at your business and your brand, because what if your business goes down? Can you take what you've done in your business and morph it on your resume and still be able to make six figures? Because the goal as a boss is to always eat. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I have that going on. So yeah, you can go to my website and check that out. If you have any questions, I'm on all social media platforms as Londyn Nikole, LONDYNNIKOLE. And hit me up in my inbox, because I'm always looking to have a conversation and chat.
Thank you so much. And again, you can find Besties on Facebook at DBA Besties in Business. We're on Instagram, DBA Besties in Business, and our group is Besties Building Brands on Facebook. So we look forward to hearing from you all soon. Leave some comments and some questions. Talk to you later. Bye.